You're listening to episode 757 of the Father Bills podcast. Welcome back. This week's episode is entitled, Oh Love, given on the 23rd Sunday in Ordinary Time, 2020. Do you owe anything to anyone? Is there someone out there that you owe money to? Or maybe a favor? Your time, talents? Many of us have bank loans, mortgages, car loans, credit card balances, or personal debts of some other kind. These are common debts which we have in our lives. They bind us and bring us down. They are the cause of stress in our lives. Like when we can't meet our mortgage, we don't go, no big deal, right? No, we worry. They may have given us some ability to buy something beyond our immediate means, like a house. But the consequences can sometimes be unreasonably unbearable. The crash of 2008 was predicated on impossible loans, which created impossible debt, which created impossible payments, which collapsed many people's freedom and ruined lives. When we have paid off a debt, it is not unusual to celebrate. I know when I've got the credit card to zero, I kind of do a little happy dance. We in the church here will likely, when we have paid off the debt that we have to the Archdiocese for our building, we'll probably have a burning of the deed party. It'll be a symbolic one, of course. We probably want to keep that deed. But we'll have a sense of freedom. Do you remember paying off that car? How did that feel? It's mine. Whew, right? It's awesome. St. Paul cautioned us. He wrote, quote, owe nothing to anyone, quote. But he added one exception. What was that exception? You remember? It was we are to owe love to one another. To owe love to one another. Now, owing in this type of framework or reference isn't a shackling type of thing, like a debt of like a car payment or a mortgage. It isn't a heavy burden, but rather a supernatural desire, a decision for the good of another. It's a decision of the will to make an action or do something, not for one's own good, but for another. We want to sacrifice ourselves for one another, and it's done out of complete sense of freedom. All couples in our engaged programs, getting ready for marriage, right, Adam? Nina? You're next. No pressure. Know this. At least we've talked about it. I hope they know it. For love to be love, it must be free. And when we are free, we want to love. For when it's not freedom, it's something completely different. This debt freely counts no cost. It doesn't calculate. It just loves. And there is no direct or indirect pressure because we are free. This is the kind of love we all want to give and receive. I know I do. Imagine if someone said they wanted to go out with you and then finally you realize somebody paid them to go out with you. How would that feel? My daughter or my sister, she's lonely. Here's $20. Ugh. With our minds transformed by love, we desire to be love in our very being. To be love for others with no regard for payback, recognition, or expectation of being thanked. For when those are there, it is not true love. It's love with strings attached. And we often do that. That's a struggle because we're human. We must be careful about the ulterior motives by which we do something, for there can be many other reasons we would want to do something, but we have to have a transformation of our minds so we do the reason that it should be, the one reason, the good, because it should be done, because I want to do it freely, because I love. But see, this love and this debt can never be completely experienced and or paid off because it necessitates God's grace. It's a debt that then we freely desire to pay on, though we know that it will never be paid on fully in this world. But here's an interesting thing, and I have had this with my mom. I'm the 9th of 9 kids, and people have told my mom or asked her, well, don't you have a hard time loving all these kids the more you've had? Kind of like it's what they call a zero-sum game. Like you have only so much love, and as you have children, it gets divided up. So I get 1/9 of mom's love. Now, if that is the case, this is not real love, right? Think about God. God loves all of us. How many people have lived in all of our existence? I don't know. Billions and billions and billions and billions. I don't know what the number is. So that means I'm 1/billionth of a billionth of a billionth of a billionth of God's love, right? No, we know that's not the case. God loves each one of us perfectly, fully. So it's not a zero-sum game, but the love then multiplies and loves all the more. The response my mom, genius as she is, a saint as she is, in my little humble opinion, she would say, my love just expands. Some I've heard elsewhere say, my heart expands more. There's greater capacity to love. So this is a debt that most deeply expresses and imitates God, this love thing. So may we rejoice in such a debt and pay it forward to all those around us.
Thank you again for listening to this episode of the Father Bill's podcast. If you have any questions or comments, just go to my website, fatherbill.org. That's FRBILL.org. And there you can email me directly from the main page. You can also look at my Facebook or Twitter or Instagram, those kind of things, social media sites, and I'll do my best to get right back to you. In the meantime, may God bless you and stay safe. Bye-bye.